Hi y'all, I'm Allison. It's been a bit, but they are back. That's right. The Sims are here to help me decide which books I'll be reading in June. It's time to start my TBR, and we're not going to waste any time at all. Let's jump right into Willow Creek. We're going to Roxanne's house to start this process. I'll see you there. As usual, Goldie is out here waiting for us. She just got home from work. So let's go ahead and follow her in. This house is still in progress, so I haven't completed this part of the challenge yet. This is part 18 of the Drifter Challenge. And getting a little view of the house as we follow Goldie. I haven't played this game since February, so I have no idea what's going on with this household. And that's okay, because we're just here to find my books. All right, hopefully we're only going to have 5 because I've got a crazy month. Our main sim in this house is Roxanne. She's right here. This is really simple. All I have to do is click the bookcase and tell her to read something. She will pick a book that Goldie or one of my other sims has written, and that will be our prompt. So let's find out where we're going to be starting with. I'm a little nervous. I haven't played The Sims in forever. Last time was in February. Where is she taking us? Okay, you'll get a view upstairs. So Roxanne, her husband's already died. And they have 2 kids, and she moved in a couple of roommates to help with the bills. Okay, my precious. Fantasy genre. That's pretty open. I can work with that. Right, easy enough. By the way, this is Sage's room. Okay, I haven't touched this house since October of 2022. Yeah, I haven't finished the challenge. We're in mid-process. And actually, I was a bit relieved because the house is in much better shape than I imagined. I thought she was still living in a shack. At least I've made some progress on it. Anyway, let's talk about the first choice. Roxanne did me right. My precious. I get to pick a fantasy. Although it has posed some issues because it's so broad, and I use these games because I'm indecisive. I want to read everything, and I have a ton of fantasy books. So let me see if I can find one to start out my list for June. I've got one. I am going to go with Spellbound by Rachel Hawkins. This is part 3 in the Hex Hall series. I've really been enjoying it. I started reading it during William Academy this spring semester, and I'm on book 3, believe it or not. We have a magical boarding school, although right now they're not at the boarding school, but I'm not giving anything away. There's witches, shapeshifters, vampires, the whole gamut. Anyway, this is my first book, and it's not too big, which will become crucial this month because I am doing a lot in June, which I will tell you about a little bit later. In the meantime, let's go back into the game and find out what my second book will be. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get Cayden. He is one of the boarders that Roxanne moved in to help her meet her challenges. Let's see what he gets us. Where in the world? A book with a location in the title. I like that one. It's different. Cayden pulled a fun one. I had quite a few choices. What came to mind was the Paris Library, World War II historical fiction, I think espionage. It's been a while since I read the flap. In the Ballroom with the Candlestick, and The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. Okay, this is a tough decision. I've ruled out the Paris Library. I am going to go with In the Ballroom with the Candlestick, even though I am really tempted by this one. But I think despite being a little bit longer, this will be a faster read, and it should finish off a series. I don't believe there was part 4. So I'm going to continue on with the Clue Mysteries and hope I enjoy it. I will say I had a rocky start with that series at first because I expected more from it. I was comparing it to the Clue movie, and once I let go of those expectations and went back and reread it, I have to say I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed book 2. So I am quite looking forward to reading the third one. All right, let's go back into game and see what else is in store for me. So far, so good. So let's go ahead and tell what was his name? Colton. He's mad at me now. He's very angry. And we'll have him read something. He's upstairs and sleeping. Poor guy. So as I mentioned, this house is still a work in progress. So I don't remember what Roxanne's goals are. I haven't completed this one yet. I have until Saffron ages up to young adult. And then I have to move on. Oh no. Yuck. Okay, miscellaneous. So this is poetry, fable, play, anything like that that's out of your typical novel. So that one might be a little tricky. I'm not really one for poetry. Colton, our roommate. I have no clue who he is anymore. I don't remember. He's just there to bring in money to help build the house. I was going to go with the play Cyrano de Bergerac, which I'm familiar with it, but I've never read it. But I think this might be an opportunity that I would be foolish to waste. Let me double check. Got my reading journal that has been sadly neglected. I haven't even updated it since April. Aurelium took over everything. One day soon I will get back to this and get all of my little ducks back in the rows. Because I am lost. I may have a crazy month ahead of me. I think my TBR will be over 20 books easy. So with that in mind, I finished part 5 of the Percy Jackson series. And there's all these little bitty in-between stuff. This is The Demigod Files by Rick Riordan for Percy Jackson. It's just like little behind-the-scenes interviews with the campers and a map of Camp Half-Blood, and includes 3 of Percy's perilous adventures. So it's just a little compilation of stuff. So I would say this will fall under other, and I am going to use the opportunity to get this because I have a feeling this will be overlooked a lot, and I do want to move on with the series. So, itty bitty baby book, which, yeah, strategic. Although I do think this would be a good read, but probably the wrong month for it. Okay, let's move on. It's Goldie's turn. We gotta bug her and see what she comes up with. By the way, I think she's about to get a promotion. She's trying to go to bed. We can just stop her and tell her to read something. I hope it's going to be something good. Oh, she's not happy with it. Dystopian. All right, I'm not upset with that. I haven't read a dystopian in a while. Do you think she's trying to tell me something? Is she living in a dystopian world? Because I'm constantly messing with her, constantly pulling her out of bed, interrupting her when she tries to go to the bathroom, making her miss work, which is a terrible thing for a workaholic. So she got dystopian. I am going with The Hunger Games. This will be a reread, and my daughter, who is not a reader at all, just read the entire series, and she's sitting on the Ballad of Snakes and the new one about snow. And we've heard the movie is coming out in November. So, and I'm seeing the trailer. It looks so good. I'm excited about that. I do want to reread the trilogy in preparation for seeing the movie, but I will go watch the movie before I read Ballad of Snow and whatever songs and the last book, because I always get angry if I read the book first and then I go to the movie theater because they skip stuff and they change things. This way, by watching the movie first, then I grab the book and I get the true story and all the nitty-gritty background details that are left out and glossed over. So that's my preferred way of movie versus book first. Okay, anyway, that was a long tangent. The Hunger Games. I'm sure everybody is familiar with this. I am going to spend some time with Katniss in District 12, and then I'm probably going to have to watch the movie because they did a great job with those visual effects. Okay, let me add this to my stack, and let's jump back into the game, and I think we can bother one of the kids. Okay, Saffron, a little heiress, is asleep, but we are going to tell her to read something. She is not happy. I think she ages up in yeah, she'll become a teenager in 2 days. This is an alternate save file, though. She is not happy. Does not appreciate being woken up. That's too funny. Getting a little glimpse of the house as she comes in here. I like how they've given us some variety on where they go. Okay, what do we have? Go team. Reread a favorite book from your high school days. This is tricky. I'm trying to remember going way back. High school would have been 1984 to 88. I know Stephen King, It. That came out then. I love that book. Threw it across my room the first time I read it. Yeah, that book flew a lot. Every time I got scared, swung it. We lived out in the country. There were no street lights. You know, your neighbors were a little farther away. And I always read at night, and it scared the hell out of me because it's all about childhood fears. You get that imagination going. Tom Clancy, Sue Grafton, the Kinsey Millhone, the alphabet. But I'm still reading those authors today. I want something that's really going to give me a nostalgic vibe, something that I haven't necessarily picked up since high school. Okay, these technically came out when I was in 8th grade, but we're going to call it because I was still reading the series all through high school. The first books came out in 1983. I started high school in 84. Close enough, and I was reading the series all through high school. Remember, every Christmas I dug under the tree looking for paperbacks because Sweet Valley High was where it was at. So I could go back to Sweet Valley High with Jessica and Elizabeth. And the other one devoured these as a teenager. And I was able to track them down from a used book site. Look at these covers, y'all. How 80s are these? You have her version of the story, and then you flip it, and you have his version. So multiple POV, actually. And it's full of just high school innocence, and she's crushing on a boy. She doesn't think he knows she exists. And the whole time he's over there very aware of her and afraid to talk to her. So I loved this. I ate these up as a teenager. And based on the amount of gushing, I think I have to go with this. These are called 2 by 2. And Lily wants in, which is probably a good thing because I'll keep gushing. Okay, so this will be my book for Go Teen. And the font is quite small. I hate mass paperbacks, which shows how excited I am for this book because I bought it in mass paperback. Okay, my stack isn't too scary. And there is one kid left in the house. It'd be kind of mean to ignore them. So let's go back in. And I will either just give you a tour of the house real quick, or we might get the other kid. Let's go see what happens. Do I do it? You know what? This month is going to be crazy anyway. I might as well. We're going to have Sage come down and read something. And you know what? Here's the view of the upstairs. So we don't have to do that later. It's the kids' bedrooms, and this is a spare room for one of the roommates. And this is kind of like an extra room. Looks like this is where they were setting up for writing, and the beginning of a library. She's going to go to the bathroom. Then they have a formal hallway, entryway, a little half bath. And this is their living room. Okay, where's the book? There we go. Oh, the blue ones are scary. He's hungry. Okay, I was afraid it was going to be +2. Reread a favorite book from childhood. Okay, we kind of got a theme here going with the kids. I'm liking that. Okay, I'm glad I did that. It didn't feel right leaving Sage out, but I was terrified I was going to get like over 700 pages or +2 or something like that. Tried and true, a childhood favorite. It's like it was meant to be. I got the high school one and I got the childhood one. So this one, I had some contenders. For one, childhood, Beverly Cleary, Ralph and the Motorcycle. Judy Blume's books, Denny, and Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. And then Encyclopedia Brown. Does anybody remember Encyclopedia Brown? I think that was way in the 70s. Okay, but I am going with as tried and true as it can get, and that is Nancy Drew, The Secret of the Old Clock. This is book 1, and I actually went out and had to get a new copy. So I got it today at half price for just a few bucks. Because I had the whole series that was gifted to me in the 70s. I was born in 70, so while I was a child, they were up in my attic. My uncle moved down and lived with my mom for a while he was transferring from Chicago to our area. And I guess he was trying to be helpful. He went up in the attic and he got rid of my box of Nancy Drew books. So they're all gone. And I'm still upset about that 30 years later. So, anyway, The Secret of the Old Clock, Nancy Drew, the first one, Carol King. I really hope they didn't modernize this, because the original one, I think it was written like 30s, 40s. This one, the last copyright date is 87, so I really hope it wasn't modernized, because that will, again, I think, ruin the book. It will ruin the nostalgic vibes that I am looking for. So this is my last book. I'm excited. This is a very doable stack, especially considering they're like all YA and a middle grade. And this is a reread. These 3 are all rereads. So this is doable. And that's going to be crucial this month, because I'm going to be doing Camp Season-a-thon that's put on by Completely Melanie, Simply Kaylani, and Reed's Readers. I believe that's the name of his Clint. So, and that's potentially going to add 10 more books. Plus, I've got all my extras to read. So, keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, I will put up, let's see, May's Just Spin It. That was posted really late. I think we will skip Just Spin It this month, because I definitely have my hands full. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed this. And honestly, I don't know when The Sims will be back. I'm sure I'll probably bring them back. But I have also been designing a new game, and I'm dying to play it. So hopefully that video will be coming soon. All right. Have a great one, y'all, and let me know what book you're looking forward to the most in June. I will see you hopefully in just a little bit. Bye now.